Hi, everybody. All right, it is time to get started. I hope you all can hear me and see me. If you can hear me and see me, give me a thumbs up or a hello, Molly, as we get started with our live lesson this morning. We're going to wait just a few minutes as some other people join in, and then we'll get started with today's lesson. So today's lesson is going to be verbs of perception. That's what we're going to be covering today, verbs of perception. Hopefully you all can read my posters in the background. We'll wait just a couple of minutes and let everyone join in. While we're waiting, grab your cup of coffee or your tea or your water. Tell me where you're tuning in from this morning, or afternoon or evening. For me, it is 8 o'clock in the morning, and I am giving this live lesson from the United States, from the state of Tennessee. Let's see. I'll start giving some shout outs while we wait. Hello, Romania, Rwanda, and Bangladesh. Hi, Zimbabwe, Pakistan. Hello, Ecuador and Japan, Italy and Sweden. Very nice. France and Thailand, hello. It is 9 a.m. in Ecuador, so you're 1 hour ahead of me. So good morning to Ecuador. Someone's watching from the UK. Hello to the Philippines. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to get started here really soon. Again, for everyone who's just joining in, thank you so much for joining us today. Our live lesson is going to be on verbs of perception. And for those of you who don't know already, I am Molly. My name's Molly. I am a tutor on Cambly. And I've done a few other live lessons as well. I always love coming on in the mornings and giving live lessons and getting to chat with all of you. So thank you for joining me today. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. We will waste no time. I know all of you are very anxious to get started today. So today we're going to talk about verbs of perception. We're going to talk about what is a verb of perception. We're also going to talk about 2 ways that we use it in a sentence. And then we're going to look at the difference between some of these verbs, because I know they can be kind of confusing. So let's start with, what is a verb of perception? Does anyone know what this is, a verb of perception? If you know, type it in the chat. Let's test your knowledge and see if you're already familiar with this, if you've already learned it. What is a verb of perception? I'll wait just a moment and see what answers we get. What is a verb of perception? Let's see. I don't see any answers yet. Okay, good. Someone said it's related to the senses. Correct. Verbs of perception are related to our senses. Right. Like see, hear, and taste. How we perceive things. Very good. Very good. Okay, so all of those are wonderful answers. So yes, verbs of perception. Basically, they convey the experience of one of our 5 physical senses. So what are our 5 senses? Hearing, sight, smell, touch, and taste, right? Those are our senses. So verbs of perception, they convey the experience of one of these 5 senses. So I do have a list back here of some of the verbs that we're going to talk about today. So for sight, we're going to look at see, look, and watch. For hearing, we're going to look at hear and listen or listen to. We're also going to look at taste, smell, touch, and feel, okay? So these verbs can be used in different ways and have certain grammatical conditions attached to them, which we're going to look at today. So we're going to look at when they're followed by the simple form and when they're followed by a gerund, okay? Simple form just means the infinitive, the base verb without to, and gerund is when it ends in ing. First things first, though, I want to talk about these verbs over here because I know sometimes they can be confusing. What is the difference between see, look, and watch? What is the difference between hear and listen? Sometimes it's easy to get confused. So first, we're going to take a look at the difference between these verbs, and then we're going to move on to the two ways we put it in a sentence, okay? Is everybody ready? I hope you're saying yes on the other end, okay? So first, we're going to take a look at our sight verbs. So see, look, and watch. See, look, and watch. See. See is when we notice, or become aware of someone or something. When we notice or become aware of someone or something. Okay, this is see. So maybe we're not looking for it. We're not trying to pay attention to it. It just comes into our sight, okay? For example, I saw a giant flash of lightning in the sky, okay? I wasn't looking for it, but it was storming outside and it was a big flash of lightning. I saw a giant flash of lightning in the sky, right? I became aware of it. That is see. Look at is when you direct your eyes to a particular direction or location. So look or look at. When we're directing our eyes to a particular or specific direction or location. For example, she looked at the children with disappointment. She looked at the children. Her eyes are looking in the direction of the children with disappointment. And the last one, watch. So watch we use when we're looking at someone or something for a period of time and we're actively paying attention to it, okay? Maybe this thing is changing, something is in the process, something is happening. We're looking at it for a period of time and we're paying attention to it, okay? This is watch. For example, I watched television before I went to bed, okay? So my eyes are paying attention to the television for a period of time before I go to bed. So again, see is when we just notice or become aware of something, okay? Maybe we're not trying to actively see something or watch something, but it just comes into our sight. Look or look at is when we're directing our eyes to a location or a direction. And watch is when we look at someone or something for a period of time and we're paying attention to it. We're actively paying attention to it. Okay? These are 3 of our sight verbs. And we're going to practice this in just a minute, just to make sure that you understand, okay? And I am actually going to put this up here so that hopefully you can see it. It might be a little small. Okay, now let's look at hear and listen or listen to. So hear, sounds that come to our ears without us trying. Okay, so that sounds kind of weird, but when we hear something, we're not trying to hear it. It's just a noise that happens and the noise enters our ear. So it's not on purpose. It's unintentional, okay? For example, they heard a strange noise in the middle of the night. They heard a strange noise in the middle of the night. So they weren't actively listening to it, but they were sleeping and all of a sudden a strange noise entered their ears, okay? It wasn't on purpose. And listen. Listen or listen to. So paying attention to sounds that are going on. So when we're listening, it is on purpose. We're actively paying attention to the sound that's happening around us. For example, I listen to a podcast every morning. I listen to a podcast every morning. It's not on accident, right? I am actively paying attention and listening to the podcast. Another example of this could be, to make this clearer, let me hang this up, could be, I heard someone yelling outside. I heard someone yelling outside. Let's say I'm watching television and all of a sudden I hear someone yelling outside. I wasn't trying to hear it, but the sound entered my home and entered my ears, okay? So that's here. It's not on purpose. But then I become interested, so I go to the window and I listen to my neighbors arguing, okay? So, I'm interested, I'm being nosy, I want to know why they're arguing or what they're saying. So I heard someone yelling outside is accidental, not on purpose, but then I become interested, so I go to the window and I listen actively to my neighbors arguing. I'm paying attention. I want to know what they're saying. So that is the difference, okay? And just to make it even more clear, see and hear are not on purpose. They are unintentional. Now, sometimes see, there's an exception. For example, I want to see that movie. Of course, that is on purpose. But for the most part, see and hear are not on purpose. They're unintentional. And listen, look, and watch are on purpose. They're intentional. We're paying attention to what's happening. I will also put this up here. Okay, so really quickly, we're going to practice the difference between see, look, and watch, hear, and listen. Just really quick to check your understanding, okay? All right, so this one has 2, and ignore my mistake here. So the first one is, and you can do, I'd like for you to type this answer in the chat, please, and you can just do both answers together, number 1 and number 2 in the same response. So number 1, we blank a loud noise outside of our house. We blank a loud noise outside of our house. And number 2, my best friend blank all of my problems, okay? Number 1, we blank along a loud noise outside of our house. And number 2, my best friend blank all of my problems. I'll give you just a moment to answer in the chat. Let's see what your responses are. And put 1 and 2, the numbers 1 and 2, so I can see the difference between your answers. Because if you just put hear or listen or see, I don't know which one you're responding to. So put the number 1 and the number 2, please. Very good. I see lots of right answers. So number 1, and remember, you need to put this in the correct tense. So maybe you need to put this in past tense, okay? So number 1 is using the verb hear, but we're going to put it in past. So what's the past tense of hear? We heard a loud noise outside of our house. You can also use present tense. I think I put past tense for the answer, but you can also say, we hear a loud noise outside of our house. Or we heard a loud noise outside of our house, right? We weren't paying attention. We were just doing our chores inside, and all of a sudden, we heard a loud noise. It caught our attention. And number 2 should be listens to. Listens to. My best friend listens to all of my problems, right? So she's actively paying attention and listening to whatever problems I have. So very good. Nice job. Okay, and let's practice our sight verbs. So I have all 3 sentences on the same page, so you can do the same. You can just write 1, 2, and 3 in the same response. I blank the sunset every day. It's beautiful. I blank the sunset every day. It's beautiful. Number 2, she blank wedding dresses all day until she found one. She blank wedding dresses all day until she found one. And number 3, I blank a big shark in the water. I blank a big shark in the water. So I'll give you just a moment to write your responses. So these are going to be the sight verbs. So you're choosing from see, look at, or watch. And you can do these in a different tense if you'd like, present tense or past tense, depending on the sentence. So choose between see, look, or watch. I'll give everyone just a moment. I see some great responses. Yes, these are tricky. These are tricky. Okay, number 1. Number 1, I watch the sunset. So you could say, I see the sunset. It's technically correct. But in this example, I watch the sunset every day. It's beautiful. I wake up and I pay attention to the sunset because I think it's beautiful. I want to see it. And I watch it for a period of time, right? There's a period of time that it's happening. I watch the sunset every day. It's beautiful. If you said see, I'll take it. I'll take it. Number 2, she looked at wedding dresses all day until she found one. She looked at, okay? She looked at wedding dresses all day until she found one. So she's actively taking her eyes and looking through every wedding dress. She looked at wedding dresses all day until she found one. That one was also tricky. So if you got it correct, very good. Give yourself a pat on the back. And number 3, I saw a big shark in the water, or I see. It can also be present tense. I saw or I see a big shark in the water, okay? So this wasn't something I was actively looking for, but I just noticed it. It caught my attention and I saw the shark fin sticking out of the water. I saw a big shark in the water, okay? So number 1 again was watch. Number 2 was look at. And number 3 was see. Okay, very good. Very good. Really quickly, before we go on to this, I also wanted to touch on a couple of the other verbs that we have up here. So taste, of course. I don't think we need to go over taste. If you have questions, we can go over it at the end of the lesson. I wanted to talk about smell and also look at. So look at, we can use, there's an exception technically, and we can use look at when it's followed by an object plus ing, the gerund, or in North American English, we can have the object plus an infinitive, okay? For example, look at him run, look at him run, or look at him running, look at her dance, or look at her dancing. So typically when we use it in this way, so it can be followed by the simple form or the gerund, okay? Look at her dance or look at her dancing. When we use it in this expression, it's usually to express surprise, or it's something different or special that we want to point out, okay? Look at her dance. She's amazing. She's been practicing. Or look at her dancing. She's doing a really great job, okay? This is a way that we can use the look at. And also smell. So smell, we're typically going to have smell followed by the gerund, okay? ing. Why? Because a smell, it's ongoing, right? It's happening in the moment. For example, I smell the cake burning. We wouldn't say I smell the cake burn. I smell the cake burning with an ing. Or I smell my mom cooking dinner. I smell my mom cooking with an ing dinner. And this will make more sense as we get into the two forms, which we're about to cover, okay? So I'll come back to this in just a moment. Okay, so we're gonna look at two ways to use verbs of perception in a sentence. The first way is when it's followed by a simple form of another verb. The second way is when it's followed by a gerund, okay? Another verb that is in the form of a gerund. So first, let's take a look at simple form. Let me scoot back a little bit. So when we have a verb of perception followed by a simple form of verb, it's because we heard or saw or were aware of the entire event or action, okay? From start to finish. We heard or saw the entire thing from the very beginning until it was done, until it was over, okay? From start to finish. And typically, it's only something that happens one time, okay? It's just an action or a noise that happens one time. It's not repeated. For example, we saw the sun rise this morning. And sunrise can also be used as a noun. In this case, I'm using it as the sun is the noun and rise is the verb. We saw the sun rise. Rise stays in the simple form this morning. Why? This means that we woke up before the sun came up. We went outside. We sat outside and watched the sun coming up over the horizon. We watched the sun coming up until it was in the sky, and then we went back inside. So we saw the entire event from start to finish. We saw the sun rise this morning. Okay, another example, they watched the team win the tournament. They watched the team win the tournament. My verb of perception is watched. My second verb, win, needs to be in the simple form. Why? This means that we arrived before the game started. We sat and watched the entire game until it was over and the team won, okay? We watched, or they watched, the team win the tournament. We saw the entire event from the start to finish. And the last example, I saw him leave, or I heard him leave, okay? I saw him leave means I saw him put his jacket or his coat on. I saw him tell every single person bye. I saw him walk out the door, get in his car, and drive away. I saw the entire thing. I saw him leave, okay, from start to finish. Maybe that's a little strange. I don't think we always watch someone in the entire event of leaving. But it means I saw the entire thing, okay? However, when we have a verb of perception followed by the gerund, it means that we heard or saw an event in process or in progress, or maybe just a part of it, okay? We didn't see the entire thing. We just saw one part of it, or we saw it as it was in progress. And it could possibly be a repeated action, okay? For example, I heard someone playing music in the park. So you notice heard is my verb of perception. Playing is my second verb, and it's a gerund. I heard someone playing music in the park. This means as I was walking through the park or passing through the park, I heard someone playing music. If I take the same sentence and say, I heard someone play music in the park, this means I sat in the park, someone came, started playing music, finished playing music, and left, okay? I was there for the whole event. But if I say I heard someone playing music in the park, it just means I was passing through. I only heard a part of it, okay? It was in progress. The second example, they saw the team celebrating. So the first example, they watched the team win the tournament, so they saw the entire game. Maybe I showed up late to the game. I showed up at the end of the game, so I saw the team celebrating. I only saw that part of them celebrating. I didn't see them play the game or see them win. I just saw them celebrating. So it's just a portion of it, okay? And the last example, we're going to compare these two. So I saw him leaving. I saw him leave, remember, is when I saw him put his coat on, tell everyone bye, walk out of the door, and drive away. I saw him leave. I saw the entire event. However, if I say I saw him leaving, and leaving ends in ing, it just means maybe I saw him walking out the door, and that was it. I just saw a part of it. I didn't see from beginning to end the process of him leaving. Okay? Any questions so far? We're gonna compare these two using a similar sentence so that you can really see the difference. And then I'm going to give you some situations and you're going to practice, okay? And I see, I'm just gonna take a look at the chat before we continue. Okay, let me scroll up and see if there's any questions, sorry. Let's see here. Very good. You all are practicing. Awesome. Okay, someone's a little confused with see and watch. So sometimes, okay, for example, typically see is just when we notice or become aware of something. We're not actively looking for it. It just comes to our attention, okay? I saw a dog run into the street, okay? I wasn't sitting there waiting for a dog to run into the street. It just came to my attention. If I say I watched a dog run into the street, it means I was sitting there, I saw a dog, I watched him the whole period of time that he ran into the street and then left, okay? Another example, if I say I want to see that movie, it means I haven't seen it yet, right? This is an exception. I want to see that movie. Let's say I go to the movie theater and I do see the movie, okay? I watched that movie. Then it means that I paid attention for the period of time that the movie played. I want to see that movie, okay? I go to the movie theater, I watch the movie. I'm paying attention to the movie as it's happening, okay? All right. Perfect, so let's compare some sentences, okay, between followed by the simple form or followed by the gerund. Remember, the simple form is just like the infinitive without to, and a gerund is when it ends in ing, okay? Someone asks, even in the past, we still use ing. Yes, so remember, we're going to have two verbs, our verb of perception, okay? And then we're going to have a second verb. Our verb of perception can be used in any tense, okay? So for example, this is in past tense. I heard someone playing music in the park, or I hear someone playing music in the park, or I had heard someone playing music in the park, okay? It doesn't matter which tense the verb of perception is in. All right, so let's compare some examples, okay? So we saw her plane take off. We saw her plane take off. This means that we stood there, we saw the plane going. Take off is a phrasal verb if you haven't heard this phrasal verb before. And we saw the plane go up into the air all the way until it disappeared into the clouds. We saw her plane take off from beginning to end. However, if I say we saw her plane taking off, we saw her plane taking off, we only saw it go into the air and then we left. We didn't want to stay and watch the plane go into the air and disappear into the clouds, okay? We saw her plane taking off just means we saw a part of it, just until it went off the ground and then we left, okay? So that's the difference. Let's look at another example. I heard her sing a lovely song. I heard her sing a lovely song. This means I sat down, she came into the room, she sang the entire song, and then she left and I left. I was there for the entire thing, from the beginning of the song until the end. I heard her sing a lovely song. However, if I say, I heard her singing as I walked past the room. I heard her singing as I walked past the room. It just means I was passing by and I heard a part of her singing, okay? I didn't stand there and listen to the whole song. I only heard a part of it. It was in progress, and I was passing by. I heard her singing as I walked past the room. Okay? All right. And I just wanted to go over this one more time as well with smell, so it's a little clearer. So I smell the cake burning. So typically when we have the verb smell, we're going to use, it's going to be followed by the gerund, right? Because a smell, it's in progress. So we wouldn't say, I smell the cake burn. It doesn't really make sense. We'd say, I smell the cake burning because it's in progress. It's happening at that time. Or I smell my mom cooking dinner. Not I smell my mom cook dinner. That sounds a little strange, right? So we use the gerund. I smell my mom cooking dinner. Okay. So we're going to practice really quickly. I'm just going to see if there's any other questions. We're just going to go through. I'm going to give you 4 situations, and you have to decide if it's going to be simple form or gerund, okay? And then we're going to finish for today. So let's see. What questions? Why I see, not I seeing. So I see is present tense. If you want to use seeing, you have to use the present continuous. I am seeing. I see or I am seeing. It depends on what context, what tense you're speaking in. Let's see, what other questions? Someone came here late. Remember, if you tune in late, this is recorded, so you can go back and rewatch this video afterwards. So no worries if you're late. This will be recorded, so you can go and watch it again. Or if you don't understand something and still need to watch it again, it will be on Cambly's YouTube channel. Okay? Okay, let's do some practice really quickly. So I'm going to give you 4 situations, okay? 4 situations, and you have to decide if it is simple form or gerund. Okay. Your first situation, I'm just going to show you the sentence. So this is practicing your listening skills. You have to listen to the situation I give you, okay? All right, so the first situation is, my brother was downtown yesterday. He was in the city center yesterday. He saw the police. They were chasing a thief or a robber, okay? I'll repeat it again. My brother was downtown yesterday, just passing through. He saw the police. They were chasing a thief. That's your situation. So now your sentence is, when my brother was downtown yesterday, he saw the police blink a thief. Okay? So my verb of perception is saw. Are we going to use simple form or gerund? So let's take a look. Did he see the entire event from start to finish? Or did he only see a part of the event that was happening, something that was in progress? Is it chase or chasing? This one was easy. Or maybe you all just are really smart. You understand it. Very good. Okay. It should be chasing, right? Be chasing. So when my brother was downtown yesterday, he saw the police chasing a thief, right? He didn't see where they started chasing him. He didn't see where they ended chasing him or if they caught him. He just saw them run past for a moment, okay? He only saw a part of it. Very good. Okay, next situation. The front door slammed. Slammed means something closes really strong or really loud, okay? The front door slammed. My mother got up to see if someone had come in. I'll repeat it again. The front door slammed. My mother got up to see if someone had come in. When my mom heard the front door blank, she got up to see if someone had come in. Should it be slam or slamming? When my mom heard the front door, she got up to see if someone had come in. I'll give you just a moment to answer this one. This one's a little trickier. Okay, very good. Very good, lots of correct answers. It should be slam, slam, okay? When my mom heard the front door slam, she got up to see if someone had come in, okay? And this is also something that was unexpected, so it was a surprise, okay? It only happened one time, and she heard the whole slam, okay? She heard one noise, the whole thing. So it should be slam. Very good. Next situation, we'll do two more. When I walked past the park, some children were playing softball. Okay, so I am walking to the supermarket, I pass the park, and I see some children playing softball or baseball. Okay, so they are running around the field and they're throwing the ball with each other. And I think, oh, how nice. I wish I could go play with them, but I'm an adult and I have responsibilities. So your sentence is, when I walked past the park, I saw some children blank softball. When I walked past the park, I saw some children blank softball. And while you're answering that, I see someone says, suppose the slam continues, can we use slamming? Of course. If it's let's say someone is knocking, okay, it's in progress. So if it's a continuous action, then absolutely we're going to use the gerund, okay? So it would be, when my mom heard the front door slamming, it was slamming over and over. Someone was opening and closing, opening and closing. When my mom heard the front door slamming, she got up to see what was going on, right? It's in progress. Okay, very good. The answer to this one is playing, playing. So I'm just passing by the park. I didn't go to the park, wait for the children to arrive, watch them take out their equipment and start to play softball until they left, okay? I wasn't there from the beginning to the end. I'm just passing by, okay? I'm passing by and I saw them playing softball. Very good. You guys are so smart. Okay, last one, and then we're gonna finish for today, our last situation. The last one is someone is calling for help in the distance. I suddenly hear it, okay? Someone is calling for help in the distance. I suddenly hear it. I'm sitting at home and I suddenly hear someone calling for help in the distance, okay? And I'm with my brother. I'm with my brother and I say, listen, do you hear someone blank for help? I do. Do you hear someone call or calling for help? I'll give you just a moment. Just a moment. Should it be call or calling? A or B? Very good. Good. Oh, I didn't write the answer. Surprise. It should be calling, calling. Listen, do you hear someone calling for help? I do. So I didn't hear when they started calling for help, but I just noticed it in the middle. I all of a sudden heard them saying help, okay, help me. I don't know how long they had been saying it or when they stopped saying it. So it was in progress. Listen, do you hear someone calling for help? I do. Very good. Okay, so I just want to do a recap really quickly, all right? So verbs of perception we use when we're talking about something related to our 5 senses. So our senses, of course, are sight, hearing, smelling, taste, and touch or feel. And I wanted to note as well, feel and touch we can use physically or when we're talking about our emotions, right? So I feel happy when I'm drinking coffee, in the moment when I'm drinking coffee, or I feel happy when I drink coffee. All right. So the difference between see, look at, and watch. See is just when we notice or become aware of something. Maybe we're not actively looking for it, but it just comes into our presence and we see it, okay? Look or look at is when we're directing our eyes to a particular location or direction. And watch is when we are actively looking at something for a period of time and paying attention to it. Hear is, it's falling down, sounds that come into our ears without us trying, okay? So they're not on purpose, they're unintentional. It's just a noise that enters our ears when we're not trying to hear it, okay? Listen is when we are actively paying attention. We're interested in the noise that's happening, okay? We want to know what they're saying or what's going on. So that's the difference between hear and listen. So see and hear are not on purpose, they're unintentional. Listen, look, and watch are on purpose, they are intentional, okay? When we have a verb of perception followed by a simple form verb, it's when we heard or saw or experienced the entire action or event from start to finish. Typically, it's just a one-time situation, okay? When we have a verb of perception followed by a gerund, a verb ending in ing, it's when we heard or saw an event or action that was in progress, or we only saw a part of it. We didn't see it from beginning to end. And sometimes it's something that's being repeated. It's a repeated action. Okay? That is everything for today. I hope that you all are a little clearer. I know that these can be confusing, the verbs of perception. We are out of time, so really quickly, for those who are new, I just wanted to tell you really quickly about Cambly. Cambly is a wonderful online English learning platform where you can call any native English speaker to practice your conversation skills or learn more about grammar. We have tutors from all around the world with different accents who are available at any time of the day. All you need to do is sign up and you can have the class from your phone if you want. So it's really great and really convenient. I have a code for you today. So if you are new and you're looking to join Cambly as a student to practice your English, you can use the code GOLIVE, GOLIVE. And this will also be in the description. This will get you a discount. You can find this after this lesson in the description. And if you're interested in booking a lesson with me, you can also find my profile in the description, okay? I just want to say thank you so much for everyone for joining me today to learn more about our live lesson to learn more about verbs of perception, okay? I hope to see you all in the next live lesson. Thanks again and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. See you next time. Bye, everyone.